My name is Joe Moore. I am the president and CEO of the First Defense Nasal Screen Corporation, and I am seeking $500,000 for 10% of my company. People flood emergency rooms, doctors' offices, and pharmacies seeking relief from inhaling contaminated air. And 1 out of every 5 commercials on TV today is about the treatment of nasal allergies. That's why I invented First Defense Nasal Screens.
Was he like pause for dramatic effect? Was he looking for somebody to for a reaction before he took the next?
First Defense Nasal Screens are the first and only lightweight, non-inserted, almost non-visible nasal screen ever invented, and they have been clinically proven to reduce the inhalation of allergens, pollens, pollutions, pet danders, molds, viruses, and more.
Oh, he said the virus. He said the V word, viruses. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, I wonder if this would be good against COVID.
Up to 99%. And the next time you're faced with unhealthy, contaminated air, remember, don't get sick, just peel and stick. Thank you. Any questions?
Are you kidding me?
I'm not. I just know that, like I said, how big this really is.
$500,000 for 10% of the company. How many have you sold?
Actually, right now, about 1.7 million.
Oh.
1.7 million units or 1.7 million in total sales?
1.7 million units.
How much did you sell them for?
The wholesale was 60 cents.
So your sales last year were how much, Joe?
Actually, we haven't gone to market yet.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Wait.
If you haven't gone to market, how have you sold 1.7?
Wait, what? This is about to go off the rails real quick again.
Actually, we have one big client out of the United Arab Emirates that has actually put in their first order and given us a contract for $8 million over the next 6 years.
So you have an order for $8 million?
Yes, sir.
Right now?
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, I have the contract right here.
That's a prepared man right there. Good for you.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
all of a sudden you don't look that funny with that stuff stuck up your nose. Can I see that?
Yes, you can.
You know, you don't sound like the bozo I thought you were.
Yeah.
Is this a product that perhaps is going to be very popular in other societies where face masks are more prominent than they're here stateside?
Definitely. This is a worldwide product.
Because you're wearing them right now. I can see them. It's probably an issue for many people that are going to look at that and say, what have you got stuck up your nose?
May I see the actual product?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious how does that actually
The distributor guarantees
filter?
that he'll order one, am I reading this correctly, 1,500,000 sets?
Yes, sir. That's for Saudi Arabia alone. They've already ordered those.
And how much is he guaranteeing you?
He's guaranteeing me the $8 million over the next 6 years.
How does the filter work?
Basically, how the filter works is as you breathe in, it's a non-woven material, so it closes, and as you breathe out, it flushes itself.
Does it stop viruses, bacterial elements?
It does.
What's to stop you from taking the germs in through your mouth?
That's a great question. 90% of the air we breathe goes through our nasal passages. Also, viruses do not grow in the mouth, the esophagus, or line of the stomach. They grow in the nasal passage.
Is there a patent that protects this?
Yes,
Well,
sir. I have we have a patent pending in the United States, Canada,
That's a fair point.
and Europe, and have been for 3 years.
And what would you use the money for?
The money for right now is so that I can keep producing it because of the raw materials I have to buy up front.
So basically, you need the $500,000 to make the order.
Correct.
Okay, tell me if I'm putting these in right. So I just take it.
The best way to do it, put it on your finger like a contact, touch your nasal passage, slide it around the outside, slide it around the inside.
Joe, let me ask you a question. Why not just go license it to one of the big drug companies?
Because I did that originally. I went to one of the biggest in the United States, and they told me we were actually a competitor, and if they took the product, they would shelf it. Because why would they prevent it for $1 when they could treat it for 14?
How much money have you put into this? I mean,
We have almost $1 million into this
and
product.
where'd that money come from?
About 600,000 of it was mine. The rest is from friends and family.
I mean, that's a big deal for him to be actively told that if he's actually telling the truth. Like, that's, I mean, that's something that everybody knows, but like, why would you say it? Like, you're saying the quiet part loud there at that point. I don't know. That seems...
I think I'd have a very hard time understanding at all what the product is about unless you had these big photos with the noses and unless you're standing there pitching it. Because I think the cost of educating people is the big kahuna here. Joe, based on that, I'm out.
Okay.
I don't know if education is the prop. Well, and and here we are, with the giant virus sweeping the world, and 9 years later, and I guess it makes sense that like it makes more sense to me now than I guess it would have then. But again, I still can't help but think like the mouth still needs to be covered. I don't know. Maybe like a big one for your mouth.
I'm intrigued, I gotta tell you. Let me throw an offer out to you. I'll give you the $500,000, and I want a 15% royalty on every unit sold until I recoup my $500,000.
Okay, just the royalty, no equity?
Are you kidding? Of course I want the equity. I took the risk. Now here's my equity. I want 20%.
Ding ding. So he wants to.
You have an offer for me. What do you want to do?
I would definitely like to hear what everybody else has to say.
They're not
before I would
interested.
even consider
They're
it.
not interested.
They never told me they were out.
Because of their silence. You know they're not interested.
Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true.
Yeah.
We can work together on this.
I mean, 500,000 is a lot to ask.
Okay, you got a deal.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
I like how cuddly they are, but I want to give you $800,000 for 30%
Oh.
with 10% royalty.
Oh, come on. Screw that. I'll give you $1 million for the whole company right now.
I can appreciate.
Sometimes there's things that we can't all prepare ourselves for. But with that said, like, anything could happen, and you really need to prepare yourself for somebody that's going to see that value and want to dive in and take advantage of it. Now, if this is the only play that this guy has, then obviously he doesn't necessarily want to let it go. But if he has other products and things that he's designed and or created or wants to go and do, then the money could really be a good thing to get the jumping point on those other things.
And I appreciate the offer, I really do, but I would definitely.
You just turned down $1 million.
Yes, sir. I couldn't take $1 million. I know that this is a billion-dollar industry.
Is there a number you would take to sell the whole company? One check.
Without a royalty, no. With a royalty, very possibly, yes.
What's the royalty?
I believe that with the statistics and the research we've done, the royalty would have to be 10%.
Wow.
And then what's the number on the company?
I would like to stay part of it, to be honest with you, because it's my passion. I'm going to show you something. I am a cancer survivor. I am a cancer survivor. By the time I was 19 years old, I've been through the Army, I've been through the Marine Corps, I've been halfway around the world. I fought all my life and doing different things. I believe in this more than anything else because I've gotten testimonials of people say, you've changed my life. You've changed the quality of my life.
I'll give you $1 million. I want 30% of the company, also 10% royalty until I recoup the money.
Joe, I'll give you $2 million for the whole business and the 10% royalty you asked for back to you.
So, you know what? I wonder, the way they shoot the show, it usually takes about an hour and a half per pitch or so. I wonder what we didn't hear in that cut, right? Because there, obviously something had to have been said to all of a sudden just like, well, I'm going to make that jump from 1 million to 2 million, and I'll give you a 10% royalty for forever and always.
I just love this whole thing. We're about to make you a millionaire just like that.
But I have 3 offers that I'm kind of confused. I'd like to have them a little bit more clear if I can.
The first offer was $500,000 for 20% equity. You're still the 80% owner. And my partner, Mark, and I apply a 15% royalty just till we get our $500,000 back. That's all. Then that royalty. Excuse me. Before you start, let me finish with one thought that's going to stick in the back of your mind. There's only 2 sharks here that have ever sold a company for over $1 billion. I'm one, Cuban's the other guy. All right? It's billions. B. Everybody else is an M. Millions. Small, big. Big difference. You want the $1 billion partners, not the small fry.
I've sold billions dollars worth of product and still doing it now, actually in Asia right now. So I have the offer of $1 million, 30% 30% of the company and the same royalty fee, but less than theirs.
I think, really at that point, it really comes down to what what does the next 5 years look like to you? I mean, obviously this guy doesn't look too young. He's been around the block several times. But what does he want his next chapter to look like? And next chapter being, is that something that can happen now, or is that something that could happen in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if he sells it, or does he have plans to like leave it to a family member? All those things come into play when you start talking about like, should I take $1 million? Well, once you pay tax on $1 million, it's like 600,000 or so, give or take. But all those things got to play into it. And at $2 million, you start to talk like, okay, well, depending on what his life situation looks like, how much money he invested to get to where he's at, it might be a good road to like, get it going, get out from under it.
10% royalty until I'm recouped the money.
Joe, a fundamentally first difference in the three offers is, one is to sell your whole business. My offer is $2 million for the entire business.
I think that's
you get a 10% royalty. You're the guy that runs it. Any interest in selling the entire business today,
he'll continue
which is
to
the
run
road
it.
that I'm trying to go down.
Not for $2 million.
Yeah.
Would you go to $4 million?
Wow. That's well, that's a pretty big jump there. I think once you start talking about $4 million, that starts to get to real like life-changing money, like real life-changing money, if you invest right and all that.
One is the largest sum of money offered in Shark Tank history.
Would you go to $4 million?
Yeah, his face says it all.
I would consider taking the very first deal you were offered. You own 80% of the company. We only get 20. All right? We're not pigs. We're sharks. We just want our money back.
Is that your final offer?
But think about it. We're leaving you with 80% of the upside.
Well, I understand that.
So you're going to make a lot more than $4 million down the road with us as partners.
I understand that. That's why I haven't said yes. That's why I'm...
Joe, are you going to sell this business today or not?
Possibly. Very possibly. I believe that...
I mean that it also says a lot to the idea that if somebody's willing to make the jump to go from 1 to 2 million and then make that jump from 2 to 4 million in, again, this might be an hour and a half or 2 hours worth of time, how much more is it really worth that he could get just with that one order? I mean, on $8 million order, like, I mean, it's, he's, what did he say? He's selling it for 60 cents a pop wholesale. So I don't think I caught how much it costs for him to produce it, but this is, I mean, that is an awful lot of order at 60, if he's selling it for 60 cents, and hopefully he could get his costs down more as he produces more and goes forward with it. So I don't know. I don't know that even at 4 million makes sense when you have just one, only one company that's saw the potential in it so far.
The 4 million is a little low, but I think we're very close. I think if you went to $5 million and 15%, and whether you want me as an employee, which I would really like to do with an employee contract, because I want my royalty to be as much as I can.
Well,
I can get my mind around the 4.
He's going to have problems with going to 5.
I can't go up to the 5.
But is it the 5 or the 15%?
So I'm out.
So,
Dang.
yeah, dang is right.
Listen, will you excuse us for a moment?
Okay.
Just send him
So
on his
listen,
way.
it's a very simple discussion amongst us.
I
Very
mean,
often, the best strategy is to take a competitor like you.
so at 4 point, if he went like 4.5 million, right, and you take 40% out of that in taxes, because it's going to be give or take, it might be 33%, it might be So even at like 36% taxes, that's 2.88 or 2.8 million or 2.88 million, and that leaves you with a pretty significant chunk of cash. Plus, if he and he apparently he didn't say no to the 15%, so I feel like he should have countered there to come down to like 4.5. But that's just my opinion. I'm looking at the math here. So yeah, so if he had gotten to the 5, at 40% taxes, he would have walked away with like $3 million in his pocket plus 15% royalty for ever and always, assuming they continue to sell it and produce it.
No, sometimes I find you distasteful. I say bring him into the deal at our price. Get him back out of this.
What do you think, DJ?
But we need to go up on the equity. You guys want the 20%.
That's interesting. Fine, bring him in for a third and go up to 25.
Well, no. I think you gave away the farm. It was so un-Kevin-like when you said 15% only till we get our money back.
Once we bring Damon into our tent, and we're the only offer left, we can change our deal. So what do you want to do?
Oh boy. It's like the slaughterhouse is coming, walking into the slaughterhouse.
Before you say anything, you know the currents constantly change in the rough waters of the Shark Tank. That's why I love this place. Your enemies become your friends become your enemies. And sometimes they bite you in the hiney, and sometimes they don't. So what's happened is Damon has decided to join Mark and I into one offer. Now,
this is why you don't leave, ever.
it's great news for you because there's going to be more money. But I'm going to let my partner, Mark, explain exactly how great it is for you.
Okay, so what we're going to do is raise our offer to
Is Robert feeling guilty?
$750,000, and then we're going to ask for 30% of the company and a 10% perpetual royalty. That's our offer.
I would consider your offer. The only thing I would ask you to do is if you go to 1.2 million, for the simple reason that will give me enough to fill my first order.
We don't have to do that because if we own a piece of the company, we're your partners and we have to finance it, but we don't have to pay for it right now.
If you need more money to fund new orders and grow the company, you think we're going to let our equity disappear because we couldn't fund a new order? Of course not. So you get us without giving up any more equity with this deal.
Don't sell yourself short.
Joe, listen.
Joe, you
Well,
gotta say yes or no.
Life is like
I don't know if that's selling it short in the sense that he's still getting to maintain, equity in the company. And
20% what happens to you and 80% how you respond. You have a moment right now to take this deal. Will you take it?
I think he should.
Does it come with season tickets?
Absolutely.
Then you got a deal.
Amen.
Awesome. Awesome.
Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to working together.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
Think about that. That's remarkable. I just offered a guy $4 million, which is about as high
But that's
as
the
us
beauty
can
of this
go.
show. This guy we've never seen before walked in and had the choice to be a millionaire.
And he stuck with it.
And he stuck to his guns and he believed in himself. And that's what makes this country great.
I feel warm and fuzzy. I just made some money.
I would have to say to turn down $4 million was probably something I never thought I'd say I did. It was something I never thought I'd do. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I still got $750,000 and I still own 70% of the next biggest thing that this world's ever seen.
That is awesome. Congratulations there. So let me see here. So I pull up this article. It looks like they are selling it on Amazon. So you can buy a pack of 7 for $10.40. I could have it delivered here tomorrow, apparently. We got 1,300 reviews, almost 1,400 reviews, at 3.7 rating. Restricts airflow by about 75%. So it looks like some people are big fans and some people are not. Which, hey, it's a different kind of product. It's a different kind of thing than putting a mask on. Some people can't wear masks. They have trouble breathing in them and such. So it's going to be different for everybody. But I would say that for the amount they probably have sold, and having a 3.7 rating is really not bad for something that's definitely different than a mask and what people are used to. But yeah, it looks like the company's growth has been primarily driven by demand in the Middle East and Asia, where air pollution has long been a serious issue. In the U.S., First Nasal Screens has grown popular for a variety of uses and industries, from mining, construction, and by people suffering from chemical sensitivities. But the majority of the sales still come from those suffering from allergies. Like, I could totally see it being a great thing if you're around a high dust area all the time, like especially in construction, to just have these things on your nose and not have to like wear a big mask. I think it really helps. Today, with the rise of the virus, Americans are turning to First Defense Nasal Screens for protection as an alternative to the increasingly scarce supply of face masks, which on its own are a weak solution whose drawbacks are remedied by there. So it sounds like a good opportunity there is to put these on and then put like a cloth mask over you, and you're gonna help prevent the spread as well. So as like an extra line of defense. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm so we can get this video to more entrepreneurs in the world. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you go and check me out at Super Joe Pardo on all the social medias. If you want to learn how you can work with me on growing your profit for your business, go over to superjoepardo.com. And get subscribed so you don't miss another Biz Coach Reacts video. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.